it's Alex, the Bookubus. Today I am going to be talking about all of the books I read in May, but before I get into that I wanted to talk a little bit about PAX. It was such incredibly sad news to hear about her passing, and yeah, just heartbreaking, honestly. She really was a beautiful person inside and out, and yeah, it's not just losing a friend but losing someone who was a big part of this community. And I wasn't as close with her as I know some of you were. I wish I had been, honestly, but I still considered her a friend. She was just such a wonderful person. She was just always so nice, so genuinely nice, so kind, supportive and friendly that yeah, it was just very easy to consider her a friend. I think my introduction to PAX, the first video of hers that I saw, was the Psycho tag that Mr. Morningstar had created, and then yeah, from then on, yeah, knowing that we were into similar, you know, horror fiction and everything. And there was another video of hers that I remember fairly early on was about some song suggestions for a Halloween playlist. I guess it was coming up to Halloween at that point. I think, you know, must have been the year before last. And, you know, then I found that we shared some similar musical tastes as well, so that was really cool. Yeah, she was just a really cool person, like honestly one of the coolest people I've met. You know, I loved her style and her creativity, and I was thinking about her the other day and remembering last year when it was Garb August, and she had messaged me saying that she was wanting to do a video about a point horror book called The Perfume, and she'd had this idea to do a bit in the video where there was like a perfume bottle talking to her, and she had messaged me asking me if I would be the voice of the perfume bottle, and I was like, that's hilarious and brilliant, and I am 100% down for that. So it was a pleasure to be a part of that video, and yeah, it's just a really nice memory that I will treasure. I will leave that video linked below, and yeah, the other videos that I've mentioned, if you want to go take a look at them. I know recently some fellow booktubers have shared some tribute videos. Mr. Morningstar and The Horror Gardener shared some really beautiful videos, and Regina did a reading of Pax's short story that was in the Lurking in the Dark anthology, which was, yeah, really wonderful. So yeah, I will leave all of those linked below as well if you want to go give them a watch. I know this is, yeah, a really hard time. It's a very upsetting time. So yeah, I hope you are all doing okay. Take care of yourselves, and you know, I'm yeah, just really thinking of Pax's partner and family, and yeah, just yeah, it's just heartbreaking, honestly. And yeah, it feels very awkward to now just move on to talk about some books that I read, because I don't know, who really cares? I kind of just yeah, I have just been feeling pretty despondent recently, but you know, that's what we do here, we talk about books. So yeah, I will talk a little bit about the books that I read in May. Probably not gonna talk at much length about them, to be honest, but anyway. So I read 5 books in May, and I'll start off with my favourite one of the month, which was Bloody Valentine by Stephen R. George, which just so happens to have a green title, so I think that's very fitting. I yeah, figured I'd wear something green, and I got a green light going on, just, you know, just to remember her by. Anyway, the book is about this group of people who 10 years earlier were students, and they were all part of this experiment conducted by the FBI, which was to create the profile of a serial killer. But the experiment stopped when there was a murder that took place in this town with the MO of the serial killer that they made up. His name was Joshua Valentine. Anyway, that's the end of that, and once the students finish their studies, they go their separate ways. But 10 years later, there's another murder that takes place in this town with a similar MO, and so these characters all come back to the town to figure out what's going on. And yeah, is Joshua real somehow? Or is there something supernatural going on? Or is it someone else, you know, committing these murders under, you know, the guise of Joshua? So obviously I won't say which one it is, but I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really good. This came out in the early 90s, and yeah, it did take a little while to get going, but once the main story got underway, I thought it was really good. I liked the back and forth, kind of learning about what happened back then and then the stuff going on in the present day. And yeah, there are some creepy scenes where this, you know, group of characters are together and they're trying to conjure Joshua again to try and get into his mind. So yeah, I thought all of that was really good. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I thought it was really solid and I enjoyed it a lot. I did read this as a buddy read with Kelly at Kelly Hooked on Books, and she didn't enjoy it quite as much as me. I think she gave it 3 stars. But I'll still consider that a win. She didn't DNF it, so that's that. But yeah, that was Bloody Valentine. Nothing related to Valentine's Day though, just FYI. And then I'll talk about the other books that I read just in the order that I read them. So the first book I actually read in the month was The Crow Girl by Erik Axel Sund. This is quite a big book. I think this one is about 750 pages long, and Erik Axel Sund is a pseudonym for 2 authors. So this is like a gritty Scandi noir crime thriller type thing. Big trigger warnings for child abuse and paedophilia. So yeah, big heads up for that. Yeah, this one is dark and disturbing and pretty graphic at times. There's quite a lot of characters and it does jump around a lot between them and with different time periods. But I thought it worked really well. It, yeah, kept the story going and kept me intrigued with the story. I think the different threads of the story as they come together towards the end, I don't think it ended in quite as satisfying a way as I hoped it would. I think for the most part this was shaping up to be like a solid 4-star read for me, but by the end it was more of a 3.5 star. So, you know, I still commend it for keeping me interested and intrigued for such a long book. But yeah, it just unfortunately kind of fell apart a little bit towards the end. So if you're looking for something, yeah, dark and gritty, like a crime thriller, then I would still recommend it. But yeah, I gave this one 3.5 stars. I also read Stories of the Eye, which is a weird punk books anthology edited by Sam Richard and Joe Koch. And this is all about like the relationship between the artist and their art and their muse. And yeah, this was an excellent collection. I did receive this copy for review, but yeah, my honest opinion is that it was an excellent 4-star read. There's quite a variety of not only content in here, like some of them are maybe more related to, you know, art in like painting, that kind of thing, whereas others are fashion and dance, just to name a couple of examples. So I thought it was interesting that there was quite a variety in the types of art included here, but then also, yeah, the writing styles, there's, yeah, quite an array here, so kind of something for everyone, I would say. Yeah, I thought it was really solid. I enjoyed all of the stories. There wasn't a bad one in here. My favourite though, I will say, was the one by Brendan Verdito. It was called Regular Maintenance of the Anxiety Machine. I thought, yeah, that one was outstanding. I had recently read his short story collection, Pornography for the End of the World, which I thoroughly enjoyed too. So yeah, he's definitely an author I want to read more by. Then I read Scanlines by Todd Keisling. This was another excellent read. It's a pretty short one, and it's about a group of friends back in the 90s. They're teenagers and they are downloading something on the internet in the early days of the internet that they think is going to be porn, but ends up being a video of a man shooting himself, killing himself basically. So yeah, big trigger warnings for that, and suicide is yeah, a big topic in this story, so heads up for that. And yeah, this is, yeah, a dark story, and yeah, a kind of a coming of age tale, and how, yeah, watching this video affects them as individuals and as friends, and how it haunts them over the years. Yeah, a really excellent story. I thought it was great. Yeah, definitely a dark one. And yeah, I gave it 4 stars, and yeah, this is another author that I would like to read more of. And then last up was Limbo by Jan Lara, which is a pseudonym for Mike Hinkemeyer, and this came out in the late 80s. Really wonderful cover. And yeah, this was really good too. So this is about a woman who, I think she's 30 or thereabouts, and she moved away from her hometown when she was 18, and she's now coming back to that town to be a teacher at the school there. So, you know, she kind of has mixed feelings about this return to a place she hasn't been in some time, and, you know, seeing people that she hasn't seen since then. And of course there's a dark secret that she holds that is revealed. And yeah, this is one that there's a big spoiler in the Goodreads synopsis for this. So I have mentioned that before on my channel, not knowing it was a big spoiler. It was only when I picked the book up that I realised it doesn't mention that on the back. So anyway, I will put some spoiler tags up when it gets to that point. But yeah, this is kind of like your slow burn, small town, you know, there's something haunting going on with this main character and some of the other characters in the town. Yeah, this dark secret that has haunted them all these years, and yeah, kind of literally comes back to haunt them on her return to the town. So yeah, spoilers now. So basically the dark secret was that the main character had an abortion when she was 18, and there were a couple of other people involved in kind of helping her with that. There was a nurse and there was a priest, and the priest in particular, you know, this was something very against his religion, but he did like absolve her of her sin or whatever, and I think, you know, he's always kind of held on to that as something that has affected him in a negative way. But yeah, one thing I found really interesting about this one was that it wasn't preachy on the subject of abortion. I thought it would be for something that came out in the late 80s. But other than, yeah, touching on the way that it affected the priest and his religion, it doesn't shame her or anything like that. So I thought that was really interesting and handled it pretty well. So that was kind of a pleasant surprise. I thought this was end up going to be, you know, a hate read or something, if it was going to go in that kind of direction, but thankfully it didn't. And yeah, I just thought this was a really good kind of quiet, slow burn horror, you know, about a haunting and how they deal with that, you know, and there was some, obviously a lot of it was serious, but there were some kind of quirky and humorous moments as well involving some of the characters in this town. So yeah, it was a good one. I enjoyed it, and I gave this one 4 stars. So that was everything I read in May. Let me know if you've read any of these, or let me know what your favourite book was that you read in May. I would love to hear about it. And yeah, with regarding PAX, you know, it's just so sad. It really is, and just a really heartbreaking thing to happen. And I know a lot of people are hurting right now, so yeah, I just want to say that I hope you're all doing okay. And yeah, make sure to take care of yourselves, and yeah, just take some time to yourselves to, yeah, to process things, because it's not, you know, it's not easy. But I hope you're all doing okay. I think, yeah, for me, once I'm done editing this video, I'm just going to try and take it easy for the rest of the weekend. I just kind of want to do as little as possible, honestly. Yeah, definitely try and get some reading in. And I actually just recently started a crochet project, so I want to put some time into that, and I know Pax enjoyed crocheting as well, so yeah, I think that's fitting to yeah, put some time into a little creative project like that. Anyway, I will wrap this up for now. Thank you ever so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye.